welcome back. So today I actually wanted to talk about self-pity. I've been seeing on Instagram a lot, especially the people that I follow, that once something bad happens to them, and I've actually seen this multiple times over and over again, so I just wanted to address this. And if you're having like one of those bad days, please watch this video and hopefully this helps you. If you are going through a bad day, which happens to the best of us, like we fail a test, we fail a class, or something major happens, like we have to go to a funeral or someone in our like family died or friends or any of that matter, and those are sad. Yeah, and you know what? It's normal to feel sad, and sadness is one of the emotions that we do feel. However, dwelling on our sorrows and misfortune can lead to self-destruction. And you might ask, like, how do I know if I'm like sad or if I'm falling into a pity party? Here are some of the ways that you can figure it out. If you keep asking yourself, or telling yourself that your problems are worse than anybody else's, or you keep saying, oh my god, I'm just having so much bad luck. If I didn't have any of this bad luck, none of this would happen to you. Or the other one that I've heard so much is, oh my god, my problems keep adding up, and there are like so much problems, and so it keeps piling up like faster than anybody else's. Or there's like one that I keep hearing that's like, what was the other one that I keep hearing? It was like, people think that like other people's lives are so much easier, and they're like, well, why couldn't I have their life, or why couldn't I have their life? They don't have all these problems I have. And like, we all have problems, we just deal with them differently. It's not like one person has more problems than the next. No, we all go through problems, we all have problems. It's just sometimes our problems are less, sometimes our problems are more, and there's ways to deal with our problems. And I'm actually getting guilty of this too. Like, I have a pity party. I remember like a few weeks ago, my friend and I were just like sitting down and talking, and I was telling her, I'm like, oh my god, like I've had such a stressful day, and I was kind of like venting. I wasn't really trying to start a pity party, but then like her and I are both very competitive, so my horrible day of venting turned into her horrible week, then month, then quarter, then somehow we were talking about like last year, and then like before I can remember, like I don't know how the conversation led to, but we were both talking about things that happened to us in 6th grade. Nobody cares about 6th grade. So I just kind of like, I was like, oh my god, dude, we're talking about things that happened to us in 6th grade that were horrible. Come on, like, hello? Nobody cares about that. It was 6th grade. So, you know, like things like that happen, and like while we laughed it off and like had Starbucks in our hands, obviously like we were grateful for the things that we have in our lives, but I was still like, dude, like what are we doing? So why is feeling sorry for yourself such a big deal? One, it's a problem because it's a waste of time. So instead of you feeling sorry for yourself and like keep putting yourself more down and down, you could actually think of the problem. Or you can do other things like exercise, pick up a new hobby, or anything like that, and you could, instead of sitting there and thinking how lonely you are and all that stuff, you can get up and do something. Once you allow self-pity to come into your life, it also like doesn't let you feel other emotions like anger, loneliness, resentment, any of that stuff, or any other emotion. So then you're so stuck in that self-pity that you forget how to deal with other emotions, and you forget how to heal better because you're so stuck on what happened and how it's so sad for you and people should feel sorry for you. And like, yeah, people will feel sorry for you for a while, but after that, they're not. Like, they're just gonna be like, oh my god, what is she doing? She's talking about herself again and her problems. No. Like, people are really like that. And it can take over your life. Like, once you start feeling sorry for yourself, you're unlikely to perform better because you're like, oh, well, like, things didn't go my way this week, so I'm just not gonna do my chores. And then you're not gonna perform well, and then you're not gonna do other things. And then you're just gonna end up having a bunch of work piled up, and it's just not gonna go well. It can also cause you to overlook the good things in life. Let's say 5 good things happen to you, but in that one day also one bad thing happens to you. You start leaning towards the bad thing, and like everything bad that happens to you, you forget how to enjoy the good things in life. So instead of feeling sorry like for yourself, try to figure out a way to like get that one good thing going for you. And also, like, it causes your relationships to suffer, because that victim mentality, while it works for a while, it's not very attractive. So people are not gonna sit there and be like, oh my god, like, she's such a great person, I really want to hang out with her again, and hear her complain about how horrible her life is, or how people should feel sorry for her. I love that. I want to hang out with her, because people don't want to be around someone that's going to be like, oh my god, my life is so horrible, my life that, my life that, my life that, feel sorry for me, oh my god, please. No. They're not going to say that. I've never heard anyone be like, oh my god, let's go hang out with that girl because she's so good at complaining about her, how horrible her life is. No one's going to say that. If you feel like you are starting to be in that pity party, or if you feel like you're sad and like you want to lean towards that pity party, because once you're sad, it's really easy to fall into that pity party, because it has happened to me. Like it's so easy to do that. Once one thing negative happens to you, you're like, okay, it's so bad, blah blah blah, and then another bad thing happens to you, you're like, oh my god, okay, my life's over, like my life is so bad. And we tend to do that. Like I'm guilty into falling a pity party. Here are some ways that like I think I've dealt with mine, and some ways that can help you deal with yours. Volunteer for a good cause. That's a really good way to do that. First of all, you see things that are like less fortunate people go through, and it just makes you appreciate your life a lot more. Second, you're doing a good cause, which makes you really like think about your life and your priorities. Third, you're giving back, which it always feels so great. Fourth, it gets your mind off of the problem. Another thing I like to do is do a random act of kindness. So what I do is like I go to the store and see if there's like any kids or anything. Like if you look at like the kids and stuff and their parents and they can't afford something, I usually try to get like the kids something that makes them happy, like ice cream or something. Or like I try to go buy pet food and donate it to the local shelters that like are holding the pets. Or what I do is like I go and buy water and food for the homeless, and that like makes me feel good about myself. I don't know, I'm just that weird person. Or what else I actually do is exercise and get active. Okay, get active mentally. I do like puzzles and like scramble and like I do word puzzles and stuff like that. That also keeps the brain like focused, and it gets your mind off of the problems. I also stay active physically, like whether it's running, bicycling, I don't know, kickboxing or any of that stuff. First, like you sweat it off physically, mentally it makes you feel better, and it declutters your brain. So instead of just like being able to focus on that problem and that thing that is bothering you so much, you're also able to like declutter your brain and think of the good things, and like there's a lot more juice flowing through your brain. Another thing that really helps me is I try to change my thoughts. So I try to put myself in a third party position where I'm like, okay, if this happened to a friend and it didn't happen to me, what would I do? What would my advice to them would be? What would I say to help them with this situation? And sometimes like it's easier for us to put ourselves and other people's perspectives, because when it's something happening to someone else, you're able to think more rationally than when it's happening to you. So sometimes I try to do that. I'm like, okay, let's say this happened to my friend or my family member. What would I say? What would I do? How would I act? What advice would I give them? What evidence do I have that show that they're gonna be able to go through this? And I use that towards me, and that really has helped. If you're ever going through a bad day, a self-pity party or any of that stuff, I hope those helped. Like especially try to like stay positive and try to have gratitude. I know when you're going through a really tough time, it's really hard for you to stay positive. I get that, I'm guilty of that too, but you have to force yourself to do that. So if you're ever having any of those days, don't just sit at home. Try to go out and socialize. Like, talking to other people always makes me feel a lot better. Your life is not just like a worst possible situation. You can always make it better. I believe in that, and I've been doing that, and I've tried to like go from the worst possible person I was to like the best possible person I can be, because I know there's more to life than just, you know, sitting in your room and like crying over things that like you sometimes don't even have control over. Like, you don't have control over when somebody else dies or something horrible happens to that person. Like, you don't really have control of that. So all you can do is just be happy and remember the good times and stay active. Remember that this too shall pass, and give yourself a reality check before you like it, because it's so easy to fall in that pity party. Just so give yourself that reality talk and that reality check before you fall into that pity party. It's fine to feel sad, it's fine to feel angry, but try to be able to heal through your emotions than just being stuck at that stage where you're just like, oh my god, my life is the worst, it's never gonna end, all these bad things keep happening to me, other people have an easier life. Try to like give yourself a mental check, try to put yourself in that third person perspective, and try to give yourself some advice. Exercise, sweat it out, think positive, get active, and practice gratitude per usual. That always helps. Like, I always carry a gratitude rock with me, because every time I touch it, whether it's in my pocket or in my wallet, and I see it, I'm like, okay, I'm so grateful for my life, because it just makes me feel a lot better. Hope that helps, and if you guys have any other questions, let me know. Bye, until next time.